Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching A Healthy Alternative. Today, we're going to be talking about how to transition into fasting. Welcome back, good people. I'm very happy to see you guys. I'm happy to be here. I'm in a great mood. I just had a wonderful conversation with my brother. We've been talking and learning and sharing about fasting and, all of the amazing things that come along with fasting. But I just wanted to get this video out there. I guess this will kind of be a post water fast video. I released my water fast video and where I went over my 13-day water fast, some of the things I experienced. And because of that video, I'm getting a lot of questions and comments about how to start fasting, maybe basically how to make it easier, an easier transition. And this is a video I did plan on doing. I guess I didn't realize how necessary it would be to kind of have right after the water fasting video. And that just boils down to my inexperience with the YouTube thing. But we're going to be talking about how to transition into fasting and how to make it easier. We're also going to talk a little bit about how to make the actual process of fasting a little bit more tolerable. Maybe some of the other options you guys can come up with to, make the fast tolerable so that you don't end up breaking it. And so we're going to get right into it. Okay, so I guess I'll just tell you what I did to prepare for my fast. The first thing that I did was I stopped eating meat. Now, I stopped eating meat for about, I think it was 2 months. Maybe it might have been 3 months. You guys don't have to do it for that long. I actually was going through a process of changing my diet, and not eating meat was just part of that process. It wasn't actually prepping for fasting, but essentially it did help prepare me for fasting. I would suggest that you do maybe, a week where you don't eat meat. You only eat fruits and vegetables, nuts, things of that nature, drink a lot of water, and you just don't eat the meat, and that will kind of help prepare your body. A week is probably a good amount of time. You could also take an additional week if you choose. So now we're on week 2 to do a smoothie fast, which it's not really a fast, but where you could actually prepare smoothies. And I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about that now, actually, because when you work a job where it's either physically demanding or mentally demanding, and fasting is going to produce some detox symptoms. If you're in a position where fasting just isn't realistic, because honestly, when you fast, it is good to have stress-free environments and, that sort of thing. Smoothies are a great secondary option to any other type of fasting. Okay, so I don't really consider a smoothie fast a real fast, because with a smoothie you're getting the skin, you're getting the pulp, you're getting sustenance that you wouldn't really get with a water fast or just a juice fast. But it's still effective. It works slower, don't get me wrong. You're not gonna have the same results that I talked about in my water fast. But one of my cousins is actually a police officer, and I was with her this past weekend, and we talked a lot about what she could do to kind of transition into, eating healthier and things of that nature with her busy schedule. And we went to the farmer's market. We got some mangoes, we got some bananas, we got some pears, some other little seasonings or whatever, and we made a smoothie, and it was delicious. It was delicious. So I'm actually going to do a video where, I put together a little smoothie for you guys. There's a lot of videos out there. It won't be hard to find. It's something I'll do, but you can find smoothies anywhere. And that will be a great alternative to someone who has maybe a demanding job or a stressful job or physically, demanding job. And that way you guys won't feel like you're killing yourself. Fasting won't hurt you, but sometimes it feels like it's hurting you. Okay, so getting back into what I did to actually prepare myself for my fast. So I did the month or so of no meat, and then I did light fruits and vegetables for a week. So as I consciously started preparing for my actual fast, I reduced my caloric intake the week prior to my fast. And all that simply means is you don't eat as much. If you're used to eating 3 meals a day, eat 1 meal a day with a snack maybe. Or, you could do the healthier route, obviously, where you eat, healthier foods, fruits, vegetables. So if you're eating fruits all day or whatever, that'd be great. That'd be great. You do fruits all day, every day for a week, preparing yourself to get into your fast. Fasting is just like anything else, playing sports, getting good at an instrument or whatever. You have to practice. Practice makes perfect. And so prepping for the game, having practice matches definitely helps prepare you for the real game. So that's essentially what you're doing. Reduce your caloric intake. Do that for about a week. Cut out meat. That'll help out a lot. And you should find your fasting process a lot easier. Now, once I did that, I was ready to go and I knocked out the 13 days. And of course, you can watch that video if you haven't already, and you can see how that process went for me. I did get a question asking if I ate anything or, whatever. And then also, what did I do coming off my fast? How did I eat? During my fast, I had nothing. I did take some Dr. Sebi herbs, but trust me, they do not provide you with any type of sustenance. It did not, cure my hunger pains or anything of that nature. What I did was intensify my fast. So, it flushed me out a lot better. I was running to the bathroom, 10 times a day. If you guys have not researched those herbs or anything like that, the chelation, check that out for sure. One quick tip, if you guys don't have the money to get the Dr. Sebi herbs, you can always get some Turkish apricots. Those things will flush you out. I don't know where all you can find them. I've seen them at the farmer's market and I've seen them at Whole Foods. I buy them from Whole Foods because that's where I shop. Let me tell you, those things will flush you out. You take a handful of them, maybe about, 7 or so. You pop them like mollies. And in about an hour or two, you're going to be running to the bathroom. So, that is one thing you could do prior to your actual fast. If you do want to eat on some fruit or something like that, they're dried. They're not the whole ones. They're the dried ones. I'm sure the whole ones probably have the same effect. They might be even more effective, or they might not be effective at all. I don't know. I know that the dried ones work. So grab you some dried apricots and pop a couple of those. They will kind of help flush your system out and get you prepared for the fast. And that will also help. Obviously, drinking a lot of water helps a lot. I know if you're not used to drinking a lot of water, it may kind of seem like, I don't know if that's going to help, but it does. Trust me, try it. So that's essentially what I did to, prepare myself for the fast. It wasn't anything special. It didn't take long. A week, reduced my caloric intake, and then I was ready to hit the fast. Once you start fasting, okay, because I've got a couple questions about the headaches. And I tried to be as honest as I can with you in my other video. You're gonna get the headaches. Some people do, some people don't. It's not 100% that you are gonna experience all of these symptoms, but for the most part, you could probably expect it to happen. If they become too intense, please do not grab aspirin. You are completely defeating the purpose of the fast. Aspirin is poison. I know we weren't taught that. I know that, your doctor will tell you to take aspirin and everything. I know, please do not take aspirin. Aspirin is a poison. And we'll be getting into why I consider the Western medicine pharmaceuticals drugs. Well, first of all, they are drugs. They call them drugs. They're legal drugs. That's it. They're drugs, and they have adverse effects on us, and they have poisoning effects on us. We'll be doing another video talking about that, but for now, when you're doing the fast and you want to cleanse, stay away from those as much as you can. And if things get too intense, one of the tips that I will give you, and this is if you get to the point where you're going to eat anyway, before you eat, grab yourself some fresh squeezed orange juice, apple juice, strawberry juice, whatever kind of juice you can get your hands on, fresh squeezed. Now what that means is it's non-pasteurized, It has no preservatives. Typically, it's gonna have an expiration date that might say like 1 week, okay? That's kind of how you're gonna know, because it's fresh squeezed, which means that you're looking at, bacteria and blah, blah, blah growing in it, and dangerous substances and blah, 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 all the stuff that they scare you about. Now, don't get me wrong, it will start to go bad after a while, but I've left my fresh squeezed orange juice in the refrigerator for, a week to 2 weeks, and it's been okay. After around, going around 2 weeks or so, yeah, it can start to, break down or whatever, but don't worry, it'll be safe to drink. You're gonna drink it way faster than it ever goes bad. All right, so that's one option. The other option is smoothies. So like I said earlier, I don't really consider a smoothie fasting. Some people may, and it's debatable, what a fast really is, because in my opinion, it's just water, or at least distilled waters, which, would include your fruit juices. But a smoothie is a lot better than eating a whole food, because it's already broke down, and so it's easier for your body to digest. And that just, it's less work for your body to do. So a smoothie would be a better option to eating a whole food. Now, coming up behind that, if the smoothie is not good enough for you guys, and you should be able to drink the juice, and that should cure those headaches so that you don't have those intense headaches and feel like, you're gonna pass out and whatever. And that should be enough. But if it's not, move on to smoothie. And if that's not enough, if your willpower is not strong enough, then go to whole juicy fruits. We're talking apples, oranges, mangoes, stuff like that. Now, I would recommend the more alkaline fruits, and I have not started doing the alkaline, fruits versus the acidic fruits yet, but that is something you guys can maybe quickly do a Google search on and get a little bit of information on it. I'm gonna go into a lot more detail, because even when you Google search it and stuff, they're missing a lot of the intimate details of it. But essentially, alkaline means that it's a 7 or above. Actually, 7 would be neutral, and then 7.1 would be alkaline. So if it's 7.1 or above, it's an alkaline fruit, and if it's below 7, it's an acidic fruit. But we're just trying to fast. We're just trying to kind of get in the rhythm. So it's not, I'm not going to be a stickler about that right now. If you guys want to have some, Cavendish bananas or pineapples to go with it, it's all right. I would prefer that you stay with the alkaline fruits, just if I'm being honest. So those are some great ways that you can avoid the headaches for sure. Those are some great ways you can kind of help those hunger pains subside. But once again, get more knowledge. If you don't have enough knowledge about how fasting works and whatever, ask me questions. Make sure to join the Facebook group. You guys can come there, you can post your questions, and that way everybody can kind of, feed off each other. Maybe you guys have the same question and we can answer it on the Facebook group, and then that way everybody will be able to see the answer. But make sure to just get more information so that you can understand why not eating is important, and it may help you to become more resilient mentally, and you can kind of get through the fast without using some of these other methods, because it will slow your results a little bit. One of the other questions I got was, what if you're worried about losing weight while fasting? Now, that's something I personally did have concerns with, and I've gotten a few of those questions since I posted my video. So I will kind of address that here. In order to fast without losing weight, your body has to be completely cleansed. And so that's not an easy thing to do, and that takes time. Now, why is that important? Because typically the people who are worried about losing weight when they fast, they're not fasting to lose weight, right? So to everybody who's fasting to lose weight, this isn't really a concern for you. You don't really have to worry about that. You're gonna lose weight. But for those who want to fast for other health benefits, or just to maintain a certain healthy lifestyle, when you become completely cleansed, at that point, your body will stop burning fat, and you don't have to worry about losing weight while you fast. Now, this is a process. It's gonna take you a long time to get your body completely cleansed. You could do like what I plan to do, which is to do another long-term fast coming up here probably in February, where I just say I don't even care. You know, I'm gonna lose the weight I lose. I'm gonna be in the gym and I'm gonna be doing what I can to counteract it. But while I'm fasting, I'm gonna lose what I lose. But my goal is to become completely cleansed. And then at that point, I can always rebuild the muscle. Now, there's a couple of things that the slimmer guys and the slimmer women who are worried about losing weight, but maybe you exercise, there's some things that are beneficial for us. When you start fasting, when you fast for a 24-hour period of time, you will actually boost your growth, your human growth hormone as much as 2,000%. Now that is major. What that means is if you are in the gym, if you are active, you're gonna start building muscle like you've never built it before. Furthermore, and this is really crucial, when you do start eating, so let's say that you're on a 24-hour fast and then you eat for 24 hours, then you fast for 24 hours. During the time that you are eating, number one, let's try to eat as healthy as we can. But with that being said, especially if you're eating alkaline foods, eat as much as you want. Eat as much as you want. What's amazing is your body will turn that food into lean muscle. As you build muscle, it will use it, it'll turn it into lean muscle. It won't turn it into fat like it typically would. Okay? So it's something to kind of look forward to. If you guys are slimmer and you're leaner and whatever, fast for a 24-hour period, work out like you've been working out, work out every day, whatever it is you do, eat as much as you want, and your body will kind of lay that on you as lean muscle. So that is something definitely to look forward to, and hopefully that will encourage some of you guys who, you know, are on the smaller side. The other thing I would like to point out about size in general is it's kind of one of those things where, yeah, in America we have this perception of what a healthy weight is, but that's not really what healthy weight is. We're not talking about, you know, trying to become anorexic or anything like that. I'm nowhere near anorexic, although some of my friends joke with me and might make little comments like that. I am a very healthy weight, and if you compare me to, you know, the rest of the world, a lot of other countries, I'm not underweight at all. So we have to be very careful about, you know, who we're listening to. You know, our doctors and nutritionists might tell us, oh, you know, you're a little underweight or, you know, whatever, but what scale are they basing that off of? Because in other countries in the world, sometimes they can have way different scales that they use for, you know, weight, you know, the healthy ranges of your blood pressure, healthy ranges of any type of fluid or chemical in our body. They can be completely different from what America uses. So let's be cognitive of that. And maybe you guys can do research if it'll put your minds at ease and compare America to, let's say, UK or something like that, and just see how, you know, they compare, because those doctors over there are intelligent too. You know, it's not like all the most intelligent doctors are here in America and we're the know-it-alls and we know everything. You know, there's a whole bunch of other people in the world who are living very healthy lives based on what their doctors have told them. So be comfortable in your skin. If you feel good, if you look good, then go with it. Don't worry so much about what a doctor is always telling you. You know your body best. The other question I wanted to touch on, and I kind of briefly talked about it, is how often should I fast and what are the different types of methods of fasting? So how often you want to fast is going to be based on what your end goal is and what you're trying to do. You know, if you're trying to lose weight and you want to lose 50 pounds in the next 3 months, well, based on the 2 pounds per day for fasting, you can kind of figure out how often you want to fast based on that information I've given you. You're looking at around 2 pounds a day that you're going to lose for fasting early on. As you get later on, and especially if you're doing a fast where you're not taking any breaks, it will drop down to about 1 pound a day, but it's still a ton of weight you're gonna lose. If you do what I suggested before, where you're fasting 5 days and you're off for 2 days, so maybe during the work week you fast, and then on the weekend you don't fast, you're still gonna be looking at about a consistent 2 pounds a day. There are gonna be times when you might not lose any weight. You know, it's not good to look at the scale every day, but you could possibly have an entire week where you fasted and you did not lose weight. Do not be discouraged. Your body will make up for it. And a lot of times we're not paying attention to the other areas where you're losing inches. So if you want to be, more analytical with it, go ahead, measure your waist, measure your chest, measure your arms, and then the weeks where you don't necessarily lose weight, measure your arms, measure your waist, keep a chart, and then you can kind of track, oh, my body still is doing stuff, because it's never not doing anything. So those are two different methods. You can obviously do a long-term fast. You could do the 5-on-2 off. You could do the daily intermittent fasting where you just fast throughout the day up until a certain time, let's say 6 o'clock, and you have a window where you eat from 6 to 8, and then you fast again. You can do the 24-hour fasting where you fast for an entire day. It all depends on you. There's so many different ways you could do it. Do what's comfortable for you. You could do 3 days a week. You could do 1 week out of the month. It's all up to you what your goals are. And so we could talk more about that. You guys can share your goals with me in the comment section. Please feel free, share what it is that you want to get out of this, and then I will help you kind of cater what you want to be doing, what will be most effective to get your result. That'll be perfect. Put that in the comments. Okay, I've got a couple questions about what waters are okay to use while fasting, what containers are okay to use. So I'll just kind of combine those two questions. Any water you drink while you water fast is going to be better than drinking soda, drinking, alcohol, drinking a lot of some of the other things you can drink, unless your water is like Flint, Michigan water. Now, with that being said, there are varying levels of, purification, and I did do a distilled water video. Please check that video out. If you guys have not seen that, and you're going into a water fast, that video is crucial to watch because it will help you understand why I'm so adamant about using distilled water when you fast. With that being said, if you want to use a carbonated water, a mineral water, a filtered water, is it going to be effective? Yes. How effective will it be? I cannot speak on. I have not used all of the different waters. I've used the filtered water, I've used alkaline water, and I've used distilled water. And I've used spring water, okay? And so, and out of those, I found distilled water to be the best. So I'm not gonna say that I've tested all the waters. Are you guys still gonna get results? Yes, but if you find that your results are grossly different from what I say that they should be, there's a good possibility that you're doing something wrong. It could be the water. You could not be drinking enough water. Maybe you're sneaking a little bit of sugar, maybe some gum, or, maybe some mint or something like that. There's so many different things. Just be as honest as you can with yourselves. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed. When you stick to the regimen, you will not be disappointed with the results. Now, what type of container is okay to use? Glass containers. Use glass containers. Everything else is going to allow your water to leach from it. Your metal containers, your plastic containers, your ceramic containers, glass. Use glass. All right. So are other containers all right to use? Sure, they're all right. They're not going to kill you. I don't want you guys to feel like you gotta do this, that, and the other. I'm telling you what's the best alternative. You are more than welcome to use plastic if you want to. And my job is just to let you know that yes, you will be leaching, artificial estrogen, possibly BPA and other cancer-causing ingredients or chemicals in that water. But you've probably been doing that anyway, so you might feel okay with doing that. It is all up to you. It's your life. It's your health. Please move at your own pace. Do not overexert yourself. My family asked me this question, and now that I've put the video out, I've gotten this question a couple of times. I believe I touched on it in the water video a little bit. Once again, make sure to check out that water video. But basically, what about deficiencies? We're talking about vitamin deficiencies. We're talking about, any type of deficiencies that are out there. I don't know them all. I'm not familiar with all of them, but what type of deficiencies are we looking at dealing with while we're fasting? Well, to be 100% honest with you, you're looking at dealing with no deficiencies that you didn't have prior to the water fasting. So if you have a iron deficiency, okay, the water fasting is not going to cause you to have the iron deficiency. You would have had the iron deficiency before you started fasting. When doctors are researching the human body, they're researching the human body. How do doctors know that you need iron? Because it's already in our bodies. How do doctors know that you need protein, B12, all of these? Because they found it in our chemical makeup to begin with. What does that mean? It means that our bodies produce this stuff naturally. That's an amazing thing to know, because what that tells you is your body in a healthy state will produce all of the vitamins and nutrients it needs to survive. With that being said, are our bodies in a healthy state? No. Can we get them there? Yes, over time with much effort, okay? Living in the major metropolitan areas, it's gonna be much harder. But when it comes to fasting, you do not have to worry about creating new deficiencies. And as a matter of fact, you can look forward to some of your deficiencies going away. So do not worry about the deficiencies. Our bodies produce these things naturally, and the healthier you become by fasting, the better your body will do its job in producing these vitamins and nutrients for itself. Okay, let's talk about the fruitarians, all right? I've done research on these guys. These are people who only eat fruit. They might eat some nuts and they might have some vegetables every once in a while, but their main source of nutrients or whatever is from fruit. If you don't know about these people, go look them up. Some of the fastest runners in the world, some of the strongest people in the world, they eat fruit mainly. And you say, well, how? They're not getting protein. Well, yes, there is plant protein. You can get protein from certain things outside of meat, but what if we just don't need protein? What if we don't have to get protein from an outside source? What if our bodies actually produce protein within itself? Wouldn't that be amazing? Well, don't take my word for it. Do your research. Go look at some of these guys. They're all over YouTube. YouTube is a great source, and I really, really hate when people have negative things to say about using the internet as a resource, because it's kind of like the best resource if you're careful and if you know how to use it. But in this case, go check some of those guys out. You will be amazed at how strong they are, how healthy they are, how far they can run. I believe there was one of them, don't quote me on this one, but I believe there was one of them who did 50 different marathons in 50 different states in 50 days. I believe he was a fruitarian. You can double check me on that one, but I'm pretty sure, and if I get the information, I'm gonna put it somewhere for you guys. No, I might put it in the description box. If I can find him, I'll put it in the description box for you. Filters, Brita filters, any kind of filter. I can't think of a whole bunch of different filters right now, but any kind of filters that you might want to use to put on your faucet and filter the water, how effective are these filters? They are not very effective at all, okay? So I used to have a Brita water filter, and I have an alkalizing filter now, which I really don't use much anymore. I haven't used that for almost a year now. I've been pretty much strictly on the distilled water. But yes, the filters are better, but don't buy it, don't purchase it with it in your mind that this is like the ultimate, you know what I mean? These filters don't really work that well. You're still gonna have plenty of parts per million in those filtered waters, and you're going to have some of the major hitters like fluoride still in the water, because the fluoride needs a carbon filter, and a lot of those filters don't have them, or they don't work very efficiently. So that's just something to look out for. If you do not have the money to buy a distiller, grab yourself some distilled water. And what I do want to kind of touch on too is me and my brother have found this amazing water. We call it sun water, and I mentioned it in my water video, but it's essentially where you take your water, you put it in a glass container. Now, this is crucial. What I said before about being able to use other containers when you drink water, you know, that's okay. But if you're gonna put it out in the sun, do not use any other container besides a glass container, okay? Because the sun will break down the chemicals in plastic and other materials, and it will leach in your water in large amounts, and that will be very dangerous. So if you do decide to do this method, make sure to use a glass container. But you can take some distilled water that you buy from Kroger or wherever. You get yourself a nice large glass container, maybe a gallon or 2 or 3. You dump 3 gallons or whatever into the container. You set it out into the sunlight. Leave it out there for, you know, a good 2 hours or more if you can. You know, an hour would be okay too, but I like to leave mine out there for, you know, between an hour to 3 hours. Let the sun get into it. Let the energy from the sun infuse into the water. And if you want to know more about that, that's also in my distilled water video. But let that water become infused with the sunlight and drink that. That water is amazing. And I will say that if you're one of those people who pick up on the small differences in the taste of water, you will notice a difference in the taste of this water. My brother and I, on 2 different occasions, tasted the water, okay? We weren't in the same room or anything. We both tasted the water, and we talked the next day, and he came up to me. He was just like, hey man, did that water taste kind of sweet to you? And I was just like, yes! I didn't know if it was me, like if I was just going crazy, or maybe I had some sweet left in my mouth from something. I didn't know. But it has this kind of very faint, it's very faint. Don't get me wrong, it's not gonna be like sugar water, but it has like this very faint, sweet taste, okay? So it is, and it will make you go to the bathroom. As you start drinking water more often, you kind of get used to, you know, you don't go to the bathroom as much. The sun water will make you go to the bathroom. It's very good at flushing your system out. So I highly encourage you guys to try that out. For those of you who have this looming unhappiness, bad attitude, or just maybe like that storm cloud, it's always with you all the time. You always just kind of feel a little down, okay? This used to be me. You know, my friends and family would kind of call me pessimistic and stuff like that. I mean, I was still a very similar guy to what I am now. But I noticed that when I started fasting, I started eating better. That aura, that kind of negative energy lifted up. It's one of the first things that I noticed, and that's the reason why I didn't remember it, because that happened almost a year ago now. But I just noticed that I was happier in general. My mood was lightened. You know, I laughed more, I smiled more. I was just in a better mood. So for those of you who are dealing with that, and I know there's a lot of you out there, and it may not be something that you're necessarily conscious of all the time, this is a great reason to fast. It is something you can look forward to, changing your diet, eating better. You know, doing these things in combination, it's something to look forward to. And I appreciate you guys. I thank you for your time. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for the comments. If you enjoyed that video, don't forget to hit me with the thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And as always, the application of knowledge is power, and I will see you guys next time.